Good evening. Welcome to Dirt Track Central. I'm Matt Kovacic.
And I'm Justin Hopp.
We're recapping the Super Nationals, so we have plenty to talk about. We got a couple of interviews here in store for you, and I actually got into a rollover simulator. We had the pleasure of meeting Paul, right?
Yeah.
With the Ryan Bard Safety Foundation, and I think most racers are aware of the fact that the flap inside your fuel cell is because someone died. But I'm sure many of you are just like I was, didn't know who that was or what his story was, and so we did get that story, and sad story, but we'll go ahead and look at that here a little later on. And I guess let you know why it's such a pain in the butt to put fuel in your race car nowadays. So we'll show you why it's worth it. We also, as always, if you have anything you'd like to discuss pertaining to the racing industry, the sport, any of that, you're always free to contact us. You can text us or leave us a voicemail at 785-201-9188 on the hotline, or you can email us, dirttrackcentral@gmail.com. We're also set up on Facebook to receive private messages, so you can certainly send one through there as well, and we will do our best to answer those questions as a part of our show each week. We would like to take this time to thank our sponsors as usual. Engine Quest presents our show, so I'd like to thank Eric for that. You might want to go and check out. We've got an interview from Eric posted on YouTube there. One of our updates from Super Nationals, and talk about some of the exciting products they've got going there, as well as Extreme Motorsports, BMS Modifieds, BSB Manufacturing, Heartland VP Race Fuels, and the Contour line of cameras, all proud supporters of Dirt Track Central. So be sure to thank those guys for what they do, and if you're looking for products that they provide, look them up. So let's see. We're going to go into the big dance from the IMCA Super Nationals for the modified division. Is that right?
Yep. We got the modified feature big dance video here. We're going to play that. You guys all get a chance if you missed it at home or wasn't on the way to watch it on the pay-per-view. Get her now.
We can take the time too to congratulate Brandon Blocklinger and BMS. Put his car on the pole of the show, and you'll get to see his performance here in a moment. But congratulations to those guys. They had some good-looking race cars and some well-accomplished drivers throughout the week. So. I think that was the second year in a row for Joel Bashore to put his car on.
Yeah, it was.
Too, so
yeah.
That's quite an accomplishment for a racer.
Yeah, kind of. Fairly young racer at that, too.
Yeah. See Kyle Strickler there out to an early lead. He was your 2012 Harris Clash winner, and spends most of his time racing on the asphalt, I think. out there in a Harris ride this week.
Rocklinger making the challenge here.
So it is a 40-lap feature, so probably a little bit of strategy going through several drivers' minds as far as, how long do I play defense and keep my nose clean versus when do we start trying to make a charge. I don't know. It's always hard to know whether you made the right decision there or not. But, of course, Brandon's he can see the front, and he wants that bad. So he's driving hard for it right from the get-go, I think, here.
And they farm the track, too, just before this feature, too. So as the race very starts, it's not quite as racy as it gets towards the end of the race, too. So
there's or at least the middle. They sure that last caution sure milked the life out of the racetrack, man. It was done for.
Yeah. There we go.
The old
slide job. Gets her back. It has that outside groove now. See if you can hold on to her out there.
Yeah, that's what the guy needed right at that time was the outside groove. Brandon knew that and got himself there. Man. On a roll after that. Just in the nick of time, I guess. I forgot about that early caution.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he had got him yet or not. I mean, I was like, was he or not? And they were able to put him back out front, so he made the pass before the caution last completed lap.
It's always hard to know, too. It seems like sometimes their scoring's a little, I don't know.
No, they're using transponders here. It's supposed to be for the modifieds.
Yeah, I was very disappointed at how long the lineups took for using transponders there. When I understood they're paying my laps to be there and do the scoring for them, and I don't know. I mean, there shouldn't be any reason it should take more than a lap to know what your lineup is.
With using race receivers too, so they should be able to talk to the drivers too,
right,
and get them in the place they need to be. So sometimes the lineup people know the lineup. It's just trying to get the people in the right spot takes a while too. So,
man, though, worst case scenario, I'd stop every one of them and hop down there and point them next, and have it done in a lap. Shouldn't have to, but
yeah.
So Brandon's still out to a commanding lead here.
We'll go. They got her all piled up here again. Whoop. Yeah, trying to get back to the. You don't have very good rear view mirrors in these things.
You can see our camera if you look close on the front of Brandon's car there, which apparently was for naught. We have I don't see a file saved on the camera, and that could be for some reason I didn't anticipate the races taking so long, and so I turned the battery on way early, and probably should have just had one of his crew members know how to do it and have him do it.
It was 40 minutes from the time you actually started till they started the race, and that's about what you gave up.
Yeah. Yeah, and the battery lasts longer than that.
The battery is still good. It was.
We ran out of memory, huh?
On that one, yeah. That one was back because even when I took it off, it was still lit up. But
Yeah. Doggone it. So we've got rear view coverage from him, and there may be some good spots in that we'll get up for you. But unfortunately, the front view did not work out so hot, which there wouldn't be much to see other than the beginning and a little bit at the end here. So,
Brown's always able to pull off a pretty decent lead on these restarts. You got with that challenging them here. 5. Here's the halfway mark.
Grabowski's trying the slick moves there, working his way up. It's pretty conservative for Jordan. He normally kind of rams and jams it in there.
I think he still knows there's still half the race to go.
Yeah. But at least he's trying something out of line. See, Jeff Taylor's made his way to second there, and he's one of those guys that's, at least in my experience of watching him here this summer, he's smooth and he's sneaky. He's somebody that, I don't know, it seems like he always ends up starting mid-pack, and you just, he's a solid competitor, but you think he's back there far enough. He's not a concern, and he kind of picks them off one at a time, and you just don't notice him coming. Never normally anything spectacular. It's just when he sees an opening, he takes it, and so before you know it, there he is. and this was really no different. I don't know that there was any. I guess not that any pass is not spectacular at the Super Nationals. All those cars are great cars, but and he took good advantage of some restarts, and he just kind of slowly worked his way there. Jeff's kind of a guy that sticks out in my mind as being a really good, slick racetrack driver too. So he's waiting for the track to come to him.
I see Dylan Smith too. That's way up there in the top 5.
Yeah, Smith and Shoot going back and forth.
Back there.
Darren Duffy and then Grabowski.
Yeah, here comes Taylor.
Try to make the move. Yeah. Brandon gave him the chrome horn, let him know that wasn't quite enough. Kept on rocking there. I'm glad to see that. I don't like seeing guys just get a spot because they force their way in, but it's really rare that you see a guy able to kind of get back like that, or let them know that you were there without tearing up at least one, if not both of you.
Yeah.
For them both to keep racing and going, that was pretty good. Gave Jeff the understanding that he's going to have to earn it.
Yeah. Well, I just think he just
not going to give it up.
He just kept on racing his race, and he was, ran up into his line. It wasn't like he didn't lift for him, and he didn't aim for him, but
he knew he had to stay smooth and be there.
Yep.
And really, that spot in the track, you see that quite a bit at Boone, where if you lift right there, it's pretty easy to get yourself into the wall, get yourself into a mess. So,
yeah.
I mean, really, it's not a good thing when you start checking up right there at that spot in the racetrack. Anyway, good for Brandon to keep her going. That's Brandon Beckendorf kind of leading that next portion of the field there in the 5 out of Danube, Minnesota. And then J.D. Oranger. Never can tell which one of the Carson's Crusaders cars is which. But.
Yeah.
Brandon still got a nice drive off the corner. Being patient.
Kind of have to start working with some lap traffic there a little bit, and then here comes just.
Yeah, Taylor got him there.
Brandon tries to get back, but wasn't able to get the car squared right around soon enough, and white flag lap.
Yeah,
Taylor's made the pass. See if Brandon can.
Made him a show out of it.
Almost looks like he was just waiting there the whole time. It's like, I don't want to give up this up to her.
He's a patient racer.
Yeah, he. Earlier, it looked like Brandon always had 3 or 4 car lengths on him, and wasn't going to have much trouble holding him off. And 2 laps to go. Taylor said, I better get going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he was saving up some tire and saving up some rear weight. That's another fact that, well, I guess I'm saying it's a fact. I heard it. I don't know that 100% that it's a fact, but Blockner was on alcohol, and Taylor does run gas, so he's got a little more rear weight left at the end of the race,
especially on a 40
lap feature. That's a difference. And of course, just looking at Taylor's car there, it's set up a bit tighter, and probably had more of the long haul in mind, where Brandon knew he started up front. He knew that he'd be hard to get around, so probably if I'm setting up for that starting spot, probably going to start out being good right from the get-go and try and get to the front and keep it up there. So anyway, congratulations to Brandon on his run.
Still a great run.
Like you saw there, second place. Excuse me, Jeff Taylor out of Cave City, Arkansas. He's the mastermind behind the Taylor chassis, and like I said, always a smooth racer, a good clean racer, and congratulations to him. Kyle Strickler ends up in 3rd. Brandon Beckendorf out of Danube, Minnesota in 4th. J.D. Oranger in 5th. Then Grabowski, Mark Elliott, Todd Shute, Dylan Smith, and Matt Bonine round out your top 10. So congratulations to everybody that made that feature. as far as kind of local guys or guys that we're used to seeing in the results around here. We had, of course, Jay Notaboom's come down and raced with us several times. He ended up finishing 14th on the field. Josh Most has been down for the Modified Mania, and he ended up in 11th. Dylan Smith, as I said, made the top 10. Ricky? Jay Steffens finished up 21st in a car that really, I never went over and looked at the car, but man, in that Race of Champions feature there, he smacked that wall hard, right in the side, and really didn't expect to see him back out, and he did come out and had good solid performances. Excuse me. Congratulations to him on that. Move on down to the stock car feature. Donovan Smith out of Lake City comes home in the first spot. Chad Palmer, Trent Murphy, Dan McIntoon, and Sean Havel round out your top 5. And Sean was the Dakota Series stock car champion as well. So been having a heck of a season there in the Wolf chassis. Some other area guys that ended up in the feature. Perry Meisner raced his way into the feature from 25th, he started 8th in his last chance qualifier and ended up winning that. Started 25th on the field in the big dance. Raced his way all the way up to the 7th position before, and actually he said he felt it going away before that, but had a shock blowout that just couldn't get the drive out of the car like it had been, and it was going away. And he said that on that last restart I got hung up on the outside, and I needed to just be in line and be in the way because the car was done going forward at that point, but got pinned on the outside there, and then to boot, Jay Steffens Stefan Sibisma breaks in front of him, and so he kind of rides that deal back to the 15th finishing position. Justin T. Meyer was also driving one of the Jax Motorsports cars, qualified well, but ended up on the first lap. Some melee happened on the front stretch and took him right out of the race before he ever got to the green flag. Casey Workmeister had a solid run, a great qualifying, started 10th on the field. I think he got into some 3 and 4 wide battles there that ended up putting him up into the wall. So he didn't finish the race. Your national champion, Brandon Sharpato, we've got an interview from him as well. Started 14th on the field, and he ended up not being able to finish that race as well. So tough luck, and that's at times that's what that race is all about, luck of the draw and luck. But there's definitely some great racers and great driving shines. In the big dance, I think he's 16. In the Sport Mod division, picks up the feature win. I think he led pretty well most of the race. Jesse Sobbing, let's see, he started 6th on the field and was kind of holding his own and just kind of being conservative there, I think, for a bit. Davis gave him the chrome horn off the top of the racetrack. Started over in last position and wheeled his way all the way back up to the 2nd spot. Um, that
He made his way up there. They're pretty quick too.
yeah.
As I was videoing it, I wasn't always.
Anyway, Jesse comes home in the second spot. Congratulations to him. Troy Jarovitz in third, Corey Rose in fourth, and fifth was Doug Cook. Excuse me. Other notables for us, Cade Calhoun started in the 23rd spot and brings it home in 19th, and that was a brand new car, as we saw from his interview.
Yep, if you want to check out that interview too, it's on one of our Boone updates or fifth Boone update there. So we have have those updates every day of the Super Nationals. I know some of the stuff's kind of old news now, but if you kind of want to go back and kind of relive who started where and who did what, we still got all those up there too. So, and got quite a few views out of some of them too. So we appreciate the people that already have watched them. So.
Yeah. Josh Blummer had some strong runs all the way through the week and came up short a few times. I mean, really thought he was going to qualify earlier on in the week, but from what I think I was told by somebody, this is his first year in a car. But at any rate, he did end up qualifying through a last chance qualifier. Qualified, started 28th on the field and finished 21st. So. Congratulations to him. Max Harder started 12th and ended up in 16th. And Ben Cates started 8th and ended 8th. So that's where we were at on that. In the hobby stock dance, Shannon Anderson brings another one home. I don't even have a stat on that, but I want to say he won the last 3, didn't he?
No. I'm pretty sure it was his second. And
okay.
Cause he was talking to how he wasn't real happy how he won the other one. He wanted to win one clean for his announcement. Because he did have to kind of door up for the win that one year with the Donovan Smith. So.
Yeah. So, he should have gone on the wall for that one.
Second.
Okay, yeah.
Now I'm pretty sure Beckman's got more than 2. I think Beckman may have 3 wins.
Yeah, I want to say. Did Beckman win it 3 years ago? I think he was in that mix with Shannon there 3 years ago. Anyway, Anderson picks up another win. Brandon Pruitt in second. Heath Tulp. We got some photos and stuff of him. Saw him race earlier on this season up around Mason City, Algona area. So congratulations to him. Corey Madden. Who also had been down at Thunder Hill, raced the spring race down at Thunder Hill. Came home 4th, and Devin Smith in 5th. So that'll be one I'll have to watch the video of. I was out putting cameras on cars and didn't watch any of it. So thought I was going to make it back a whole lot quicker, and you can't make a trip into the pits without discussions. So,
yeah,
always find somebody to talk to. Robbie Marsh did qualify, started outside front row, ended up 8th on the big dance, and Adam Armstrong qualified 21st, and he did not finish that race. So.
You want to go? Did you talk about the Race of Champions, guys?
I have not talked about Race of Champions.
Do that real quick. If you want to do the hobby stocks, Adam Armstrong ended up picking up the win in that too. So he checked out for him too. Yeah, he started 4th and got out to pretty lead. I mean, got there pretty quick, and he checked out. And I mean, back when I was in there, he had to start just about same row behind him, and he.
Oh yeah, I mean all of those guys are.
Oh yeah, well,
are really fast.
When you got John Watson, that's what it's going to be.
So. Some of the names that you would expect to be in there fell short of qualifying for that race, but there again, they're still
that Luoff is pretty fast here too.
Great. Yeah.
Yep. So, and in the sport mods,
Jeff Olson?
No.
that's
James
started.
Yeah, you know how you say it.
Kloniski?
From Columbus, Nebraska. So, and Jeff Olson finished second.
Okay.
And for the stock cars, Donovan Smith picked up the Race of Champions win over Dustin Larson and Brendan Charapata and Chad Palmer.
Yeah, there's
Brian Irvine
There's
was in
some
there
nice
too.
names,
Knopf
yeah.
was in there. Nichols.
Yeah, Nichols blew a
Yeah,
motor
that's what
before
he had.
that and didn't show.
Yeah, so they can make
Brian Irvine, I don't know. Normally, on that track he's hard to beat, but he was showing us that the 3-wheel thing isn't the ticket anymore.
Yeah. And for the modifieds, Kevin Stoa picked up the Race of Champions win over Michael Smith. Jeremy Fanier was third, and Jeremy Mills fourth, driving the Mopar 52 machine in that
Yep.
one after he rolled his car. So pretty good run there for jumping in somebody else's car up against Brad Pounds, Mark Elliott, Johnny Sadoff, Jake Durbin, Jesse Richter, which good job for Jesse making it into the Race of Champions race. Jordan Grabowski, Todd Shute, Dylan Smith, all guys that most everybody's heard of.
Right. Yeah,
So
definitely had a good run there. So
that should do it for our results.
all right. Well, again, we'd like to thank Engine Quest for their participation in the show, and always appreciate all of these fine sponsors that help us out and allow us to do what we do. So,
You can probably play a little ad from them here.
EQ cylinder heads power drivers to the winner's circle. From IMCA modifieds to stock cars to sport mod divisions, the checkered flag flies often for EQ team racers. As a general sponsor of IMCA Racing and the title sponsor of the EQ Cylinder Heads Wild West Modified Tour, EQ cylinder heads are used throughout IMCA divisions. EQ's 23-degree performance cylinder head is the most powerful cast iron head out of the box and approved for use in the EQ Cylinder Heads Wild West Modified Tour. EQ's early 350 head is the approved replacement.
Uh-oh.
Slowed down on us.
Yeah, I guess I didn't.
It's
It's finish out here.
and Southern Sport Mods, as well as the IMCA Hobby Stock Division. In 2012, EQ's cast iron Magnum head is the approved stock replacement for IMCA Northern and Southern Sport Mods, along with the Hobby Stock Division. When you need to get to the front of the race, choose EQ cylinder heads, the power choice of racers everywhere. Visit EngineQuest.com or call us by phone 800-426-8771. All right, thanks again to EQ, and I guess I got myself out of whack there a little bit, but we'll go ahead and thank VP Race Fuels. Heartland VP is another proud supporter of the Dirt Track Central show, and Justin is your man over there. He can give you tips on what the right fuel for your combination is. Squeeze that little bit extra horsepower out of it, or help you run cooler, or whatever you think is the issue that you're trying to solve there. So give Justin a call. Take a look at some photos of the week here. We haven't seen a whole lot of submissions, so there may end up being more posted than what we've got here, but I've got a few. Dirt Track Central has a few, or Dirt Track Devils, has a few. And if you would like to submit a photo, you're more than welcome to do that. You can do that any week by emailing those to dirttrackcentral@gmail.com.
That's kind of off a week. Do we have photos from last week? So
Yeah, I'm trying to
remember what we.
Don't even remember how long ago it's.
23. Yeah, I only had a couple, so
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and go through them real quick. I remember we were kind of running short last time, and
Yeah.
we got. Oops. There we go. We got
It's
this
from Dodge City there. Casey Workmeister and Regan Sellard in the IMCA stock car division. What'd you get? 4, 5 likes?
5 like on that one.
9 likes on the Gimmel
Gimmel
family
box.
photo there. That's Van Gimmel, Grandpa on the outside, and Troy Gimmel on the bottom driving Brennan's old car. So would be cool to get all 3 of them in there sometime. But
Seems like I've
those
seen one
guys,
of those shots.
yeah,
before.
I may have,
I think you
may have
you,
one. But
You captured it maybe once.
yeah,
And Beaver or
But,
something like that.
those guys have a heck of a fan base and have a lot of fun. So,
Yep. So,
congratulations on that one. So, we'll pull out some Boone photos here for you, and I didn't even really think about it. Such a long weekend. We didn't do any results on it either, but we went to Stewart on Sunday,
Yeah.
and on Saturday we went to Harlan, and Friday we went to Salina. So we saw just a ton of racing in the last 10 days, and I think Harlan was a marathon, just slow going, and I don't know, full moon or what the heck was going on there, but
seemed like the late models were some of the worst of it. But
yeah,
we got some pretty good video coverage from that there too. So
Yeah.
we don't have all the results and that stuff we'll talk about today, but you want to go check out the videos. There's some pretty good coverage there.
There's some photos posted from there as well as from Stewart and some Stewart videos.
Yeah,
which,
Stewart's had some pretty good racing there, and
yeah,
we had
neat
some pretty
little.
good camera angles and turned out some good. So I still got one more of the stock car one to put together, and Matt reminded me that I hadn't got it up yet, so I'll work on that this weekend. We'll get it up there too, because there was a pretty good race there.
Yeah.
So, and that's all the classes really there was in their little front wheel drive class. It was just the mod lights, the stock cars, modifieds, and their V6 class.
It was a good special.
Yeah.
Of course, not being from around there, we didn't realize it until looking at where some of the drivers were from. They really had a good pull from all over the area.
There wasn't tons of cars, but they had a lot of different cars that came in from the
Diversity.
area. So
I think the corner worker said that in the modifieds, he thought there was only 6 cars there that they would get on a somewhat weekly basis. So
yeah, the locals were just all worried about Boone and getting ready for Boone there, and all the guys coming through, they wanted to try a new track out and make sure their stuff was ready to go, I guess. So. Man, we got this picture here. Looks like a little farming action here.
Yeah,
The
sunset out there at the Boone Speedway. So
they're just starting to tear up the track there to get her back and water down and freshen back up. So,
there's the old rooster.
yeah.
And Smoking Hank Berry in front of him there in the BMS car. Pretty good shot.
Yeah.
I think overall it sounded like he was pretty happy with the progress they made on the Shaw car. As we heard in an interview earlier, they were kind of struggling and didn't feel like they were getting the results they thought they would get out of their kind of old standby setups. And so
they definitely got the right rear planted now, figured out it. I think a bumper might be dragging a little bit there.
Yeah, I think the body is anyway. So,
which that's a track you can really get in on over on it. So
that was a photo from probably one of the best heat races there was. Jimmy Gustin, Mike Van Genderen, and I'm trying to remember. There's a third car in there at the end in the mix, but at any rate, one heck of a battle there. Got a nice shot of it. So.
Oh, that's not the right direction there.
Yeah, got the rubber side up there, Jeremy. we've got the video posted from that, as you'll see in the Bonehead Move of the Week section here. So check that out. And as I get photos edited, we've kind of got a series of photos from that, although that was another one where I wasn't ready. I was zoomed in too far on the early ones, and they didn't tell me they were going to wreck before they ever got the green flag. I usually give them a lap or two to get settled in before I start shooting, so I wasn't ready. But we got a little.
Yeah, photos by Red was on the end, or no, I guess he didn't catch much of this one as he did the Estes one, but Schween, Nick Schween.
Nick Schween, yeah,
got
some good ones.
Guns here. He was down the infield. This car kind of came towards the infield where some of the camera guys kind of stand somewhat. They got up and close. So
there's old Greg Dinsmore on the bottom, and Hank
Another
Berry again on the top.
out of 250 modifieds, we get him twice.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
That's something we didn't talk about really earlier was car counts there here at the Super Nationals.
Another record.
Yeah, record of overall car count. Man, there wasn't it 850 some. I don't know if it was a record for the modifieds.
Yeah, I don't know, but still 250 some
50
cars was
but
259.
yeah, overall car count was up over record, and look how much that left rear's squished down, hooking up, trying to get something out of track.
She's getting it.
Yeah.
That I was looking at the WISSOTA. Their counterpart to the Super Nationals is WISSOTA 100, which is raced the week after Super Nationals, and their total car count was rivaling the modified car count at the Super Nationals, and they do run 6 classes there as well. So, but obviously not near as widespread as far as the sanctioning body's concerned. But
and been around as long as 30th running of the Super Nationals was here. So that's something that they've built over a long time. And if you can have a race for 30 years in a row, it's probably something pretty spectacular, like the Chili Bowl, or you know, I think it's up there over 25 years. So it definitely done something right there. Some stock car action.
Yeah, Mike Nichols and Anderson on
Shannon,
the outside.
Or no, I mean,
not Shannon.
Gosh, why? I just sort of didn't want to say it. Oh, gosh.
Daddy-O Anderson.
Yeah, I should know that. We should have thought.
Yeah.
There's a lot of national champions in there in that picture. If you had them two up,
That'd be 9.
9. So
yeah, Jeff Anderson.
There we go.
has 5 national titles, and Mike was so close this year to getting a 5th one, and that's obviously a lot of people, like we've talked about earlier, don't understand the system, and maybe this isn't the time in the show to talk about it, but
we've talked about it before somewhat. So.
The system is, I don't think you can ever get a perfect system, but I think I've heard some other ideas that I think certainly would be make a little more sense, as far as for one thing, I don't necessarily disagree that if you're going to base it on 30 wins, that a guy should have to get to 30 wins before you worry about what the bonus points are. And I don't know. What do you think, Sarah?
Well, I mean,
a drawback to that?
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of think that there should be some incentive to race against more, a track that's got, more cars. So I think the bonus does make sense, that there is something where, a guy could go and just try to race against a field of 12 cars, and then this other guy's up here racing against 30-some cars tonight, and it's very hard to pick up those wins, and so I do see the reasoning for the bonus, situation, but there maybe should be the way that how many points are awarded for those bonuses maybe need to be
and that's another thing that I thought of or came up with was, what if you gave half half a point to each car, and so you have a little less chance of a guy with 18 or 20 wins picking up a national championship against a guy who has 30 plus wins.
Yeah.
If your bonus points are worth, say a maximum of 20 instead of 10.
And I've heard the deal too. If you do hit your max, you should get some extra bonus points for that, for hitting that 30 too.
Putting a bonus on the max.
Bonus on the max. So if you can get to that 30, then you actually get a bonus too. Which,
right.
And they also take just 2 track championships too.
I really think that's about all you can do, though.
You can't take 3 because
there's too many people that can't run 3 tracks.
But maybe even narrowing it down to one, they only count their 1, but change the way the points is too. But then
I'm sure once they get crates in the stock cars, they'll give you bonus points for winning with a crate too. No, maybe not. But there is,
and they've been changing. It's not like they've just said this is the way it is and this way. They have changed their point system.
Right, they've worked hard.
Almost seems like they've changed it every year somewhat.
Yeah.
A little bit. There's
last year's the only year I think that I can remember in recent history that it hasn't changed some. So. It used to be 3 track championships, and it used to be. There was times when it was
there was no bonus points.
And then it was a maximum of 30 bonus points.
There was no maximum races. Before you could race as many races as you want.
That's back when Jeff raced. That's shouldn't say when he raced. When he won national titles, it was a deal where. You didn't have to support a single weekly track. You could go find those wins. There's so many things that have changed.
As much as you want. You could run 90 nights in a season if you had 4 tracks, a week, and it gave an unfair advantage to guys in Iowa that had tracks that raced 4 nights a week in a 130-mile radius, and then
they also had the 5-point rule or whatever, where a guy could pull off and you only got 5 points rather than now having 11, and that the way that works out is if you were to pull off the first night. Just mathematically, you would end up starting first or second row for the next 4 weeks. Well,
pick up some.
That's if you're that much better, but the track's not all that racy. If you're not going to win the first night, you just well pull it in, and so that ended a lot of that. And
plus, if you have to get a track championship, you wouldn't want to do that too, because you might need those 20-some points too at the end of the season to win that track championship too. So. And there was one other thing that I was going to mention too that they've changed too.
The system certainly hasn't improved, though. I mean, but there again, there's always. I don't think you can build the perfect system, but I do think that another thing that I've seen mentioned is base your 20 points of bonus points based on the national average car count in your class. So, it would be different in each class. But, if the national average car count for stock cars at all the racetracks that run stock cars is 14 cars, then the max bonus points should be awarded for 14 or more cars or something like that. There's all these ways, and obviously they also try and keep it fairly simple, which I know, like we said, a lot of people don't understand it, but once it's explained to you, it's really pretty darn simple this way. Not ridiculously hard to calculate if you have the information in your hand. The hard part is getting the correct information in your hand as far as what the numbers an IMCA has and that kind of thing. But, system-wise, it's pretty simple. So, but anyway.
But we should get back to our photo.
Yeah, back to the photo of the week.
We got off into that's good.
But it is something interesting to discuss. And
we'll see. And there might be changes. We'll know in the first of the year. And we'll be talking about them next year. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's always frustrating to have the what IMCA would deem as the perfect season. 2 to 3 track championships and 30 wins, and you lose based on bonus points. And as Mike pointed out, in the stock car division, there was 4 tracks in the U.S. that had a 20-plus car average, and 3 of them were in Wisconsin.
But
And the other one ended up being right in his backyard at Stewart. But they went from an average car count last year of like 12 point something, ended up being a 13 car average, to a 20 car average, 20 plus. And it's like, there's no way to ever guess that. You certainly can't base a national championship on a racetrack that produced 12.5 or 13 car average last year.
But the same thing is, you still can't take away from Brandon Sharapata too, who
he raced in his backyard,
and those guys
20-some
cars, and it's he picked up a lot of wins, but still it's not easy with that many cars and that stuff. So it took a lot of work for him too to pull off what he did too. So not to say at all that he's not national champ. He
definitely is deserving
of that.
Really, it comes down to the same thing with Shannon and Devin Smith. Both of them. I'm sure both of them ending up with a theoretically perfect season, and so there again, you've got to have a way to split those hairs. And so anyway, it's always interesting at the end of the year how people want to see the rules change based on how their guy did too. Because some of those are just like, no, you look at other scenarios and it's like, no, that wouldn't be fair. But anyway, on to thanking another supporter here. Extreme Motorsports is a great supporter of Dirt Track Central. They are your parts people at the Salina Speedway every week, every Friday night. Also, your guys to call for IMCA modifieds and sport mods out of Great Bend, Kansas. And, of course, they can ship those parts out of there. You can run down and see them if you need something. And good group of guys to work with. And as we mentioned last week, Jesse Richter did have some luck there at the Super Nationals. Mike and Brendan did not. Brendan lost a battery and didn't know about it till the next day. And Mike ran her in there nice and hard the first lap and ended up flipping the car. It's just, you can't do anything but laugh. It's Boone. It is what it is. But just some bad luck. And Mike's one of those guys that's been going to Boone long enough that he's seen the good luck and the bad luck that comes there. And you go hoping to have a whole lot of fun and maybe a little luck. So better luck next year.
You only plan on having the fun. You don't plan on the luck.
Yeah. You just hope for the luck at some point, and you're. All right, sorry about that. We're back up and running here, and check out the crash of the week from Boone, Iowa. Let's see, the crash was Chad Estes in the stock car division. I'll let you take a look at the footage and see what you think. And caught the action from the grandstands. We had caught photos from the right there in turn one where he flipped off of. Then I was looking at the photos and realized that he had an in-car camera, so we went and got that footage as well. And so
I want to give a thanks to Donut, old friend of mine from Texas, that actually got that footage there. And I still didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I need to. I'll look him up on Facebook and thank him and tell him about that. Here, I should have this thing ready now. Whoops, wrong one. Hold on a second. Get this. Restarted everything, and now nothing's lined up here. I got her in the wrong one. This should work here.
All right. Notice the grandstands footage in the lower right-hand corner. I think maybe it's the next lap here. We're gonna get a bump. Yeah, gets a bump, and you see him try to correct as far as he can there. Just
like
gets it under control
car.
and gets another one. And away we go.
Chad does a real good job of getting out of that car in a very fast, timely manner.
Yeah, had a little fire coming out of the exhaust there.
Yeah.
Nothing major, but yeah, as we go into looking at the safety and getting out, he nailed that.
Yeah.
He did everything in the right order.
See your hair slowed down just a little bit. Kind of got sandwiched there. A few people try to go wide. Caught there. Got him turned. Once it hooked.
Pretty rough hit.
I'm gonna trip the whole side of that other car off too. They went over.
Jeez, yeah. The knot comes sliding in. I think he got much for damage, but
Wow.
all right. Scary ride there. Glad everyone's all right. Always hate to see equipment torn up like that. The car was certainly done. You could see the cage moved on it, and was in rough shape. So, bolt the parts on another chassis and go racing another day. So, got to thank BSB Manufacturing for their fine products. Manufacturing traction, that's their business these days. They do that through a series of components, from the brake pads to the shocks and springs. If you're having trouble hooking up your horsepower, they're definitely a good bunch of guys to look up, and they can help you out. So get with Jay. And we'll check out the bonehead move of the week, right?
Yep. Working on it here. Getting set up. Yes. Maybe many people have already seen this here, but here. This here is going to be of Jeremy Mills and his BMS modified. There we go.
Had to go for a little tumble.
This is the one we showed pictures of earlier. Here. You'll see that the 75 kind of gets turned sideways, and he comes across the track and just gave a ramp for Mills to drive right over top of.
Yeah. he climbed out of that car quickly there. So more mad than hurt. So
Watch this. That's pretty quick. Yeah. I might have to give Dirt Track Devils a little crud though. He said he took some pictures, but somebody was in his way. But I just think he's just sitting out here looking.
Yeah, looking at his pictures.
Maybe he'd already got him snapped. So.
Yeah.
He said Nick was in his way, which they said Nick had some good pictures. He's there in front of him.
Yeah.
Not very far away from the action.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the bonehead is that thought he could push the 75 car faster than go around it, but sure tore up some equipment there. I do know that they sent the car home with Brandon though, so it's I don't think it's terminal, but certainly needs some doctor work. So I'm confident the guys at BMS will get that up and running as quick as possible. And I don't know what Jeremy's schedule is. I know he was trying to follow the Hawkeye Tour, and that Farley race was here this weekend, I think. So hopefully they were able to come up with a solution for him. Like I said before, we've got some interviews that we played or that we got out at the Super Nationals. One of them was talking to Paul with the Ryan Bard Safety Foundation. So we'd like to thank him for what he does, and we'll check this check this fun out. It was a good time. I don't know if I could do the racing thing. I couldn't breathe with the freaking belts on. He says, "Can you breathe?" And I said, "A little bit." So he tightens them down a little tighter. He says you shouldn't be able to.
I got this right. You shouldn't be able to breathe.
That's right. Hold your breath, pal. Here we go. And it's a little worse when you know you're getting ready to roll. So
come on.
A little tight for a big boy in there, but got me in there. It's a hydraulically powered rotisserie here with a real race car cage. He gets you all hooked up in there. Flipper, he calls it.
I think he's got an acronym for it, but I can't remember what it stands for later.
Yeah, it could be.
Now you got to try to exit with the car upside down.
Yeah, there we go.
It does.
It was hot in there.
Classic with Dirt Track Central. We're here at the IMCA Super Nationals. Talking with Paul here with the Ryan Baird Safety Foundation. As you just saw, he got me into a simulator, and
you did a great job.
we had fun. A little tight for a big boy, but we made her work, and I don't think I even skinned my knee. Paul, why don't you tell us a little bit about your company and your goals here?
Well, I started doing this 5 years ago when Ryan Bard died in Abilene at a race when his car rolled over and the fuel cap came off and the car erupted in a ball of flames, and he wound up perishing in those flames. And Ryan Bard was 23 years old and just about to be married to my daughter, and that was a pretty earth-shaking event for a lot of families. And in the aftermath, I just felt like I needed to do something better. Get a little bit more emphasis on the safety side of the sport, and also try to keep Ryan's death meaningful. I didn't want just another dead person out there. He needed to stand for something. He was a sweetheart. Miss him every day. But the whole idea now, I'm just focusing on the future. It's too late for Ryan, but it's not too late for other drivers. So I travel with the simulator all over the Southwest. I try to put drivers in there. I've had car builders look at it. I've had car builders get in it. and that's extremely valuable to me because car design has a lot to do with the exit, the proper exit of a car, and I get a lot of funny looks and people coming over and go, "What is that thing?" and it's a little hard to explain, but you know, you were willing to try it, and now you see why I do what I do. And there's a sequence to getting out of a car, and human nature has to be overcome because human nature would say that you'd yank your belts and try to crawl out, but I think you would find that you'd be hung up on the steering wheel. So I teach them to take the steering wheel off first, drop the window net. We talk about fire suits. We talk about helmets, fuel cells, fuel cell flappers, all sorts of things.
Well, I certainly appreciate you giving me a little heads up on the correct way to do that. I probably would have struggled, and obviously it was fresh in my mind as to the correct way to do it. And I think that helped, obviously, with my quick exit, or at least as quick as it can be. But
you were fast. You were really fast, especially for a big guy. But you'd really be surprised. You know, I told you about it, you remembered it, but probably I'd say at least 25% of the people that I get in there, because it's so disorienting after I shake you up so hard, actually forget. They don't remember what the sequence was, so they'll get everything kind of screwed up, and I get everybody out, but you know, now they get to see. Sometimes the belts will hang up, they won't release properly, and that can dang sure happen in a race car. And it's, you know, everything. I try to do everything that can happen to them. If the belts hang up, well, they could hang up for you. If you forget the steering wheel, well, you know, you could forget the steering wheel in your car. So I try to get past that and just get it ingrained in their minds to so that it's second nature. You know, it's second nature now instead of what was it I was supposed to do again? Yeah.
Right. You mentioned the car builders, and you know, in an industry where we're all trying to get that tenth of a second or whatever, you know, the emphasis is always how do I make my car go faster,
Right.
and it takes guys like you reminding the car builders and the racers that above all, I want a safe race car, and a safe race car can be a fast race car just like any of them, but if you buy one with safety in mind first, that's
I don't think that increasing the window opening by a couple inches is going to slowly have that big an impact on a dirt track. I don't think it's going to have that big a. I mean, they're not incredibly aerodynamic as it is. They may look it, but I think increasing the size of that window opening for bigger people really wouldn't hurt too much. And I think some of the smarter guys are doing it. People are actually conscious of it. But I know I've had a lot of phone calls. The next day after a race, I'll get a call from a fellow who's rolled that has graduated from the machine and thanking me for it. And he knew exactly what to do. He didn't leak any fuel out of his cell. Everything was fine. And that's exactly it. You know, for me, the best news really is absolutely no news. It's hard to gauge how much good we're doing. But I think we are because I'm hearing less and less news. So, you know, I've put on a lot of miles and been to a lot of shows. I speak at chassis seminars. You know, anybody that'll have me, I'll get in there and yak.
now these fuel flappers to us are fairly new invention. Were they around before Ryan's accident?
They are a direct result of Ryan's accident.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, they decided they needed to do something after Ryan died, and manufacturers had to scramble because IMCA mandated them. I don't know if other sanctioning bodies do, but I know IMCA mandates them, and that's actually kind of a problem too. Is a lot of drivers will have them in their cars, but they're all worn out and flopping and hanging, and they're legal. They meet the minimum, but they're not. It's not going to work for you. So I try to talk to them a little bit about that, show them some improvements we've made, and discourage them from using those big 4-inch fuel caps. I have no idea why you need a 4-inch fuel cap on a fuel cell. I have no idea. You stick a funnel in it anyway. So why we need a 4-inch opening, I'll never know. So I hope they outlaw those. Frankly, I'm pushing for them to. But a lot of guys still have them.
Certainly. There's I don't know, like you said, I don't know what other sanctioning bodies are doing. And I'd never witnessed a deal like that before, but we went down to a non-sanctioned racetrack earlier this summer, and one of the little kind of pony stocks flipped, and it was like an under 14 years old class, which, I'm sure when parents are putting their kids in a little car like that, they're fairly cautious with safety, but still, like we talked before, it seems like in general, the less expensive the class, the less safe the cars are just because of probably financially for the drivers. I mean, safety equipment isn't cheap, although it's necessary. But we didn't, as a fan, we didn't see him get the kid out of the car, and they dumped the car over, and it burst into flames because the fuel had been leaking. And I'd never seen that before. And of course, the grandstands, they had parked a fire truck where we couldn't see the opening of the car, so we thought the kid was in there, and everybody's, of course, worried. And apparently they had gotten the kid out of the car before they flipped it, but still, a lot of this even is education to the safety crew that, if you had fuel leak out of the car, don't just dump the thing over, you use a winch truck and set it down nice and easy.
There are so many layers to that onion. You're right. I work with safety crews. I'll talk with safety crews as much as I can. I'll try to get them to train on this, but we're seeing a lot more foam available now, but there's still a lot of these little podunk tracks that just, it ain't going to happen here. Everything's good. We've been racing this way for 20 years. Everything's good, but until it's not.
Right.
And then it's a problem. But I think we've elevated the awareness. I see a lot more foam available on fire trucks. I see a lot more fire extinguishers out now. And, just like Dale Earnhardt, there's blood on every improvement. And I'm really glad that kid got out before that car burst into flames. And let me touch on that real quick. We were talking about lower priced cars and kids. You think about a little family budget, and they want to get their kid racing, and they can't afford a lot of stuff. Well, usually some of the stuff, frankly, that they sacrifice is like the fire suit, because the kid's growing.
Right.
They don't want to go spend $1,000 on a fire suit that he's going to outgrow next year. So they kind of get cheaper stuff, which is exactly the worst thing to happen for a class like that, which you've got kid drivers. They don't have the right reflexes. They don't have any experience. They've got less than superior equipment, and now we're putting them even at greater risk because we can't really afford to put them in a good suit.
We buy the cheapest one, maybe even a used one off of the internet or something. And I had a friend back home that he said that he wanted to get his son in a hobby stock, but he said he's just growing too darn fast. He said, I'm not going to put my son in a car until I can have a LaJoy seat under his butt, and I can't justify spending the money this year and doing it again next year. He said, I think that his growth will plane off next year and we'll be able to get him in a car. And they did. He'd race karts and some other things, but he said, I'm not putting him in that fast of a car until we can have him safe. And really had to commend the guy on that. That's the first time I'd ever heard that, seen that.
You don't hear that very often. That's a fact. Yeah. Usually, if you can afford to do it, you're going to get somebody in there and get them going. But
right.
Yeah, I love this sport. I don't want to discourage it. I want to encourage it, but I also want to raise the awareness of some basic things you can do. I'm not the guy writing the check for the $1,000 fire suit, but I do write myself a pretty fair share of checks traveling with this thing.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Well, while we're on the subject of money, do you have some sponsors you'd like to thank for helping you get around the country and get the word out?
Well, probably the biggest. God, I have so much help. I have so much help. There's no way I could. I'm here alone, but I mean, there's so many people behind me. Williams Energy, the company I work for, has given me a pretty good chunk of change over the years, and it's a pipeline company that's very big on safety. So having one of their employees involved with something like this is pretty big time for them too. They're pretty tickled. We got in Dirt Modified magazine. It got like 6 pages in there, so they got some exposure and I got some exposure, but the checks aren't rolling in. But Mike Hamilton at XL Concrete, even Brett and IMCA, they invited me to come. They comped my way in here. So I got good exposure to the biggest dirt event around. So looks like LaJoy might be getting on board. Smiley's has been a big help over the years, but the website where I am racing with Neil is I can't thank Neil Palmer enough. That is one of the true gentlemen of the sport. He does nothing but the positive side. He loves the focus on family side of racing, and you got the whole family here. You got the kids. You're cooking, you're eating, you're all together. And Neil Palmer is very encouraging. He supports what I do. He allows me to share his website, and he's one of the best guys in my corner ever.
Well, it's certainly a heart-wrenching story, and we're happy to spend some time with you today. And
Thank you.
Thanks for having us try it out, and that'll make a fun video for us that hopefully be something that we can help get your name out there and raise the awareness. And
My pleasure. It's the Ryan Bard Safety Foundation. You can Google it. I'm on Racing with Neil, and if there's an interest somewhere, just all I have to do is contact me, and I'll do everything I can to show up where I'm needed. I want to go where I'm wanted. I don't want to just show up at a track and go, hey, let's talk safety. If there's an interest, I'll make every effort to come.
all right. Well, Paul, appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Again, Matt Kovacic here, IMCA Super Nationals, Dirt Track Central.
Here we kind of added on a quick exit here we saw earlier with Chad Estes. He did it just right. Took the steering wheel off, got the window net open, then took his belts off, and turned around, crawled out of there.
Yeah, slicker than snot. So
Should've done.
definitely something that I guess I'd heard the story of Ryan, although didn't know his name back I suppose 5 years ago, and knew that obviously the fuel caps are a safety issue, and that's why those flaps are in place. But always a good deal to get the rest of the story. It's a shame that somebody had to pass on to make that safety improvement. But like Paul says, every safety improvement has blood on it. It seems like so. It is too bad, but we do appreciate him being out there and spreading the word, and that's something that probably not enough racers really maybe know the right way, or I don't know that I'd ever heard before that you take the steering wheel off first. When you back up and think about it, yeah, it makes sense, but had anybody, you'd raced in the past, has anybody ever told you that?
No. I have rolled over once before, but I did land back up on my wheels, so exiting it was
not an issue.
Not too bad a deal. Kind of made sure I had my wits about me, and then exited like you normally would. But that's the normal step when you do get out of your race car. Is the first thing is to take off the steering wheel. But I guess if you're sitting upright, you may take your belts off first. But I know before you try to get out of your seat, you need that steering wheel off. And when you're upside down, as soon as you take off those belts, you're out of your seat.
Yeah, you're out of your seat. Yeah.
So
just so happens the gravity's not on your side.
so.
Oh, shoot. So, yeah, we'll I think try and help Paul out here in the near future and get something short and concise put together for him. And
we'll
told him I'd help him out with a Facebook page. He's struggles a little bit in the internet department, but he does have a Facebook and kind of know how to use that. So I think we'll get him set up and going and try and help him get his message out a little better.
Spread the word. So, and we'll put that video up just separate by itself. So if you got friends that race and stuff like that, make sure you share it around so everybody can spread the word. So. Well, we also caught up with Jesse Salbing there too while we were there at the Super Nationals, and we'll kind of hear what he said. He had a heck of a season this year.
Good afternoon. This is Matt Kovacic with Dirt Track Central here with Jesse Sobbing at the IMCA Super Nationals. Jesse, how we doing today?
Pretty good. Kind of a slow week, I guess. I usually race 3 or 4 nights.
No kidding. We've been trying to catch up with you for an interview all summer, and seems like every time we get a chance to catch up with you, you're heading to a race somewhere. So, had a phenomenal season. Tell us a little bit about your season.
Yes, it's been rolling pretty good. I think we got 86 starts in. I've won 52 of them.
Wow. Had a little change in the chassis this year. You want to talk some about that?
Sure, yeah. About a month and a half ago, we got that jet chassis down in Beatrice, Nebraska, and it's been rolling pretty good around the racetrack.
Yeah, I think one of our races of the week was you racing with the A-Mods at I-80. That was pretty impressive there. You think Johnny would have taken it back if you'd have passed him?
Yeah, that's kind of the goal. I caught up with him there, and I braked when he was battling for third place pass, and it kind of lost my momentum I had going. But yeah, heck, just to finish right behind those guys was fine. Coming from the back twice.
Yeah, that was a crazy race to watch. Well, qualified for the you said the outside of the second row, right? Or
yeah,
second row outside.
Yeah, the outside row, second position. Yeah.
Okay, and had some pretty good success here at the Super Nationals. It's always tough to make it into that big show. Lots of talent here. Tell us how about your week.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough deal to win. I mean, you got to hope that nobody wants to take out the whole field on the first lap, because it is a 30-lap race, I suppose. Just guys' kind of heads go out the window on that deal. But I've made it in the show twice before this year, and I started on the front row both times. Haven't been able to win it, so maybe I can win it from farther back.
There you go. We've discussed that several times. We had a list going of guys that we felt like maybe it was their time. They've either led and had tough luck or whatever the case may be, and you were certainly on the top of that sport mod list. Noda Boom running up front and breaking a gear, and Nichols has led this thing many times and had issues. So there's a list of these guys that are definitely the top of our sport and just never had that luck that it takes to win the Super National. So we're going to wish you luck and let you keep wrenching on the car here, make sure everything's tip-top condition. But good luck tonight.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Jesse's always a pleasure to talk to. Cool-headed racer, and man, he sliced and diced his way through traffic, and that's another feature that maybe we'll be able to show you here one of these days. But ended up going to the back and coming back up through to second place. So worked his butt off, but I don't even think we want to look at the picks.
It's pretty hard to pick for Super Nationals. You got 250 some guys to pick from, and only 30 of them, 3 get to make it into the show. And my guy was lucky enough to make it into the show,
and mine wasn't.
No, so,
yeah.
I had Jimmy Gustin, and I think he ended up finishing 11th. Is that right? We looked that up. 17th. 17th. So back there a little further. So, and Matt had David Murray, and wasn't able to make the show this year.
Yeah, couldn't quite pull it off. I don't know. Yeah, actually, he was running pretty good in that last chance qualifier, and he tried putting it in a hole that was in the process of closing, I think, at the time, and it closed up pretty quick on him and put him in the wall, broke that tie rod. But would have been fun to watch, interesting to watch if he hadn't broke that. Some of those are just some of the most fun to watch, really, guys. When it's go time, it's go time, and especially for some of the guys who have made that show several times, they feel like they should be in there, and they haven't drawn well or had other issues, and so they're battling hard to get themselves in. It's always tough to see, but there again, bad luck, no points for me.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Oh. Well,
I guess
as far as this weekend, we got championship night at RPM Speedway and at Goodland and at Dodge City Raceway. I think we still got a couple more left at Thunder Hill.
yeah, I did
but
see
it is
something too that Thunder Hill was had some extra bonus money. Extreme Motorsports has decided to add some more bonus money, and Sport Mods will get an extra $100 for the win, and second and third place will get an extra $75, and the winner bonus for the stock cars back to $50 extra for the win there. So
yeah, and
extra $100 for the hobbies too. It looks like 50 for second. So
I think the mods get it too, don't they? Yeah, mods, stocks.
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, the mods.
It
And
reads
the mods and the
funny.
spots. Yeah, mods and the sport mods are the same. It'll be 100,
BSB.
100 extra to win, and then 75 for second and third, and then the winner bonus for the stock cars is 50, and then the hobbies will be 100 extra to win, and 50 for second place. So,
Yeah. So it looks to me like it lists the stock cars there too. So
well,
looks like the stock.
okay,
See, it
yeah,
says Island Repair Service stock. So I think
yeah, so
stock cars, the way that reads, if you win,
extra 150.
you're getting an extra $100 if you're one of the 2
Yeah.
or 3 or 4 guys that have won, and then if you're not that guy, you get an extra $150. So what do they pay? $275, $375, $4 1/4 to win stock cars this weekend.
There you
So
go. So,
if you're a new winner,
so thanks to Extreme Motorsports for helping that deal out too.
and that is for his breast cancer cause. So be sure if you're going up there to watch to wear your pink. So. Salina Speedway, of course, on Friday, and Waukeeny has canceled their last race, so no Sunday night races. So we'll see you at the track Friday or Saturday. That pretty well
does it for this
wraps it
edition.
up.
So we'll see you next week. I'm Justin Hopp,
I'm Matt Kovacic.
and we're Dirt Track Central.